Okay, here are the new things in version 8. I mean, there looks a lot, but actually a lot of them are very intuitive. You probably don't notice them, but instead of you discovering, maybe you stumble upon it. Let me just go through it one by one. Hopefully I can have time to go through all of them. But of course, I'm just going to touch on it very quickly, all of the subject. But I really want to pay some attention on some of the new things here, like the courses, like the live data, live access. I think you have heard it before, but maybe you haven't seen it. Maybe you haven't tried it, but I think I really suggest that you try it. Data live access, courses, and the boss. This is our latest, virtual training assistant. So we have so you have now a virtual teaching assistant. Now let me just start with this presentation. So first, okay, if I go through this, I have got a list of things one by one, right? First of all, is quick init day 0. If you go from 7.5, you will notice that in version 8, you can instantly stop the game. So it's very quick, yeah? It saves you a lot of time. Now, I'm not going to do the demo, this one, because it's easy. We'll go through it later. You'll see that in a moment. Next one is we have new demo mode, which means that it's easy, quick live demo without destroying the player's data, okay? So anytime during the game, you can stop the game and then you can go through the demo mode and then you can come back. We're going to go through this in a moment, but right now I just go through. Third list, we have new location setting, more realistic and more real location attributes. Okay, so I'm going to go through the demo right now. Okay, so let me go through demo. I'm going to pull a page from my current game. This is my current game. I'm pulling a page here to show you what I'm talking about, right? So in version 8, the location starts with the number of areas. Okay, so we have a number of location here. In version 8, you'll notice that we have a very flexible location, right? Instead of 7.5, where you have 3 set location, in 8.0, you have this location are open for you. In fact, you can change it because every location that we publish, we have attributes associated with it. Now, the attributes are very simple to begin with just the population density. But if you want to know more, you can actually increase you can just let the location attribute to show more. So if you show the location attribute, you can see that your location now has a lot more, right? We have not just a population, but we also have the group. Okay, now what is the significance of the group? The significance of the group is that the demand for the product has something to do with the group population, the group quantity. Okay, so what is education value here? So the education value here is so that the learners, when they play the retail game, they need to find out which particular group likes which particular product. And from there, it's a lot of critical thinking, okay? So that's what we are trying to do. So we bring in the location and these are the population of the location, which, by the way, also affects the rental. Okay, so the higher population, of course, the higher the rental. So if you compare Sydney, the rental is $51 for the retail store, while $5 if you go to the industrial park, which for the warehouse. So $5 there and retail 51. Now compare that with Adelaide, which is $40. So therefore, you will see that the discrepancy of the location becomes interesting. It becomes something that will induce the learners to think about where they want to set up your store, right? There's a lot of things to go into this thinking to set up a store, right? So for example, population is one that you want to think about. And then the the price of the retail, the rental price, and also the warehouse price, right? Plus these attributes, okay? If you want to play advanced model, but if you don't want to play advanced model, you can simply hide it. So this attribute will not come in, okay? But if you click it on, then the attribute will come in, then we'll give them a lot more to think about when they do the retailing. Not to mention that they still have competitor coming to grab their market and so on. So there's a lot of thinking that goes into that, okay? So let me just flip back to my chart. Now, you can have more than 3 retail stores now, right? In this, in the version 8, in this version. meaning that I'm going to go back to that. Yeah. So in 7.5, you got a fixed three location. Now you're free to choose which location. You can have 1 or 2 or 3 or all the way up to 7. So it's your choice. Yeah. So more thinking, basically. Come back to this. And then we can have more than one warehouse also. Okay, you can have more than one warehouse. So I'm going to show you the game that I have just run the other a while ago by a few robots. So I put in 3 robots, 3 team 2, team 3, team 1, and I have 3 robots. And let's look at the result, right? If I look at the result, you can see here, if I look at this robot, this is their result. I'm going to bring it in here. Okay, so this robot set up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 location. Okay, now each location with a different cycle stock. If you notice that the sales, the units sold for each location is different, right? Adelaide, Hobart, Melbourne. So what is the relationship between what the units sold versus the attributes of Adelaide? So they have to find out through data analytics. Okay, so it's not a very easy thing, but well, it depends on you as a teacher. How much do you want them to think about, right? You can just play it like as though there's no relationship. Then they just learn other stuff, other stuff like the price, the elasticity, and so on. But if you really want them to dig deeper, then you turn on the attributes. Okay, then when they go to rent a space, then they have to start thinking about the attributes. Okay, like this attribute. So they can manage so this is where they rented their space, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 retail store, okay, and 1 warehouse. Okay, so this is basically I'm going back here and to show you, all right, can have more than one warehouse. So the idea is more realistic and more critical thinking for learners. Okay, why do we have more than one warehouse? Okay, let me just also explain that. The reason why you want to have more warehouse is because we have an advanced function here that allows B2B shipment. Okay, if I turn on B2B shipment, if I make it allowable, which means now, remember in 7.5, the customer will pick up your product from your warehouse. But in 7.5, in 8, you can have the option of customer pickup or you ship to the customer. Now imagine if you have to ship to the customer, then the whole logistic of shipment becomes a consideration, yeah? Then you have to start thinking about how much time you need to ship to the product, to ship the product to the user. So if I turn on the B2B shipment allow, which as I say, this is more advanced. If I turn this on, then in your location, like in a warehouse, you will see the warehouse here. I'm going to turn on warehouse so you can see it. If I turn on warehouse, yeah, here we go. Then the warehouse becomes a consideration. So suppose like if I were to do a B2B transaction, let me just go to a B2B. Yes, that's the reason why it's not showing, because I need the B2B to be on as well. Now, there's the customer, there's your customer, okay? So I'm sorry, it may look a bit a lot, but don't worry, it's quite simple actually. First of all, the red one is the available place, right? And then these 4 places are the customer. So if you do not play B2B, if you turn it off, then these places would not matter. Right? If you go to location, then it doesn't matter because the customer location we don't care, right? All we have to do is to set up our own warehouse. So if I set up a warehouse here, then it will show up here. But if we turn on the B2B, and if we turn on the B2B shipment, then you will see that in the location, this becomes a consideration where the customer are. So imagine if you try to get a deal for VIP, which is located near Perth, and your warehouse is shipping from, let's say, Brisbane to Perth, then it's going to be really far, right? So it's going to be really far to ship a product from here to here. Okay, so the location become very important. Where are you going to put your warehouse in relationship to your customer? Okay, so that's what we mean by having more location and your flexibility to choose your warehouse. Maybe you want to have 2 warehouses, right? Maybe one you want to set up near, number 2 to cater to this location, and then you want to have another warehouse in Perth to cater to this client, right? So it's your choice now. So a lot of things to think about, right, the student. But as I say, right, for the newer student, you don't need to play this. You just turn it off, and it doesn't matter to them, right? So you just turn it off, then it doesn't matter, right? If you go to location, they're gone. So it's becoming simple. Okay, so I hope you understand so far. So you can have one warehouse, more than one warehouse, right? And you can have more than 3 retail store. Yeah, we've covered that. Okay, so far, I'm going to go to the next one. The next one is inline editing of price, marketing, investment, and so on. Now, what does it mean by inline editing? Now, remember in the version 7.5, when we do some, let's say we want to do price changes, we have to click and it's a pop-up, and then we do the price changes. Now in version 8, it's easy. All you have to do is to click this running table, and then here are your location and here are your product, the price. So all you have to do is to click here to change the price and click submit. Okay, so it's called inline editing. And the benefit of this one, obviously, is because it's faster for the learner, and it's also more intuitive because the learner can see the whole, can get a glance of what's going on, right? Let's say in Townsville, right? I have the number of unit on hand is this many, so I just change the price depending on what is my information. So you give the student more information so they can make better judgment, right? So that's what we mean by inline editing. Okay, so there's a running sales table. This is what you don't see in version 7.5, but in version 7.5 you'll see the running table, day 48, day 49, what's going on, how many units sold, what is the sales, what is the daily marketing, what is the unit remaining, and then the price. Okay, so that's what we mean by inline editing. Okay, so I hope you're clear with this. Now, it's not only for prices, it also applies for many things. For example, in marketing, if I want to set the marketing expense, it's also inline editing here. So all I have to do is to set, okay, select B, I want to put $100 here for Perth orange juice. See, it's easier now, right? Remember in 7.5, you have to pop up and it's a huge complex table to do that, but now it's all inline editing. Okay, just submit this. All right, so I hope you're clear so far, version 7.8. Okay, and so prices, marketing, investment, move, replenishment, all that. Okay, also replenishment. Okay, let me just show you the replenishment. If you go to here, you go to auto replenishment. It's also inline editing. So for example, in my retail store, Townsville, I need to plan for the logistic, yeah? So here is where how I can do. I can look at my quantity on hand and say that when this quantity drop below certain value, I would like to replenish certain value. From where? Now I haven't got my warehouse, that's why it's not showing. But when I get my warehouse, it will show up here. So that becomes so easy for the student to do shipment and do auto replenishment because it's all in one page, right? There's no pop-up on this one, so it's easier. Okay. Right. I hope you understand this, the power of this, the inline. So it's move stock. So if I want to move stock, let's say I want to move from here to Perth. See, I can immediately just choose. I want to move this many to Perth or to Hobart or to Melbourne. I just simply click this, okay, and move it. Same thing here. If I want to click here, then I move here. Or if I want to handle Hobart, I go to Hobart and then I select, and then I just click it. Okay, so that's inline editing. Okay, now I'm going to jump to the next one, which is sales running table. Now earlier I've shown you this. You see this sales. In the past, when you look at the sales, you can only look at the chart and the graph, but right now there's a running table. Actually, can tell you day after day what's going on, right? You can see there's a running table. And this running table is in many places, not just in sales. Actually, there's in inventory also, in warehouse, where you can see the stock move stock. This is also your running table sort of thing. Okay, move to okay. I'm going to jump to the next topic. Okay, sales table. Now, there's a new marketing report. Now, prior to version 8, when you buy the marketing report, yeah, you will see some numbers there, make some decision and all that. Now, in version 8, more comprehensive data, including lots of market share charts. Yeah. So what happened is in version 8, if you look at the marketing report, which I have bought here, let me just pull up the marketing report. So same thing, right? You still buy, and it takes about a few days to give you the marketing report. But now, if you look at the marketing report, it's more comprehensive. It tells you this is who you are. These are the retail store that you have set up. But this is our competitors, right? So you have a bird's eye view of where your competitors are and how many stores that they have. I mean, it's not natural, right? I mean, if you are 7-Eleven, if you are competing with, whatever company, then you know how many stores that they have, right? 7-Eleven, there's another 7-Eleven somewhere there. So you can tell how many stores and how much space that they have, right, from the marketing report. And you can also look at many things like the market daily thing, how much they're spending marketing, right? So like, oh, this guy is spending a lot in marketing daily. How come we are not there, right? How come this guy is not there? And then you can decide. And units sold, right? From team 1, so not only my team, but other teams. So you can see your comparison with the other guys, right? And what is the retail sales day to day? Yeah, you can compare. And then market share for units sold. Okay, there are 3 robots, so they are pretty similar in this case. And then market share for sales and units sold, right? They're similar. And then B2B and so on. There's no B2B. So these are the market share information that you can see, and you can also see the pricing, right, for each product. Okay, so you can see the area. So basically, what we are trying to tell you that in version 8, the marketing report is pack a lot more information, and hopefully the student can derive more conclusion out of that, and then make better decision. Okay, a lot more thinking, basically. Yeah. So you can play a slow game actually for version 8. You can just play retail and then just slow it down and let them do a lot of analysis. Okay. Now, I'm going to jump to the next one, which we can view past marketing reports, which means that, remember in 7.5, you always get the last 10 days of the marketing information. But now, in this new version 8, you can go back and get your old report. Like if I want to get, okay, what was my report purchase like 10 days ago? You can go grab it. Okay, so it's nice for students to make report. It's nice for students to make decision and give the report, submit their report basically through using the market intelligence they got from the previous report that they have purchased. Okay, I've come to, now I'm going to the 10th. The financial report can be filtered by dates. Okay, what does it mean? Now in version 7.5, you cannot do that, but here it's easy. Whatever report that you see, for example, I look at the balance sheet, for example, I can just go back and say, okay, I'm not happy with this. What is my data on day 42? So this is the data on day 42. Okay, so okay, this is the profit and loss. So you can select, you can choose your data. Okay, day after day. So if you want, you can download a CSV and then you can make your own comparison, first 10 days, last 10 days, whatever, right? So you can always search your market data based on the day. Okay, same thing with balance sheet also. You can also do that. 38, the data for 38. So, okay. All right, so that is you can filter by date, okay? Number 10. 11, we have something called new transaction tables. What does it mean? This is this guy, this is this table, yeah? Okay, transaction table means this, right? Every transaction you do, it'll end up with this in this table. It's called transaction list. Okay, so whenever you want to check out what your friends has done or who your colleague have done or what have you done before, all you have to do is to come to this transaction tables and search for it. So if I want to see, okay, did I buy marketing report? Okay. Yes, I did. Okay, I bought on day 29, it came in on day 30th. Okay, how about, did I cancel any marketing? Yes, I did cancel the marketing. Okay, who canceled it? I can tell. Okay, let's say if I have a team member of 5, I can see who canceled the marketing or who bought the finished goods. So I can say who bought some finished goods. Ah, okay, so you bought the finished good. Ah, and so on and so on. So again, what does it give the the student? It just excellent record audit, record for audit trail and also follow-ups. Okay, it's excellent for that. And it's quite useful when they are discussing certain things. Right? What did you do on day 20th that caused our cash to go down so fast? Okay, so you go back and check what happened on the day 20th. Did you do anything? Right? So you can search there. Okay, so that's a transaction list. Okay, now notice here you have repeat order, which means that okay, in 7.5 you don't have, but in version 8 you can. So suppose I want to do the same repeat and I don't want to go through all the clicking again, I just click this and then I submit. Okay, but right now it's the we have to we need to run the game. It's not running. Okay, so repeat order is there, save you some time. Now we have manual B2B allocation for version 8. Does it mean manual allocation? If you do B2B, so I'm going to do B2B and show you. I'm sure a lot of you already know this, but bear with me. So I'm going to go to the demo mode. I'm going to start the demo mode. This may be too small for you. All right. Okay. So I'm starting a demo mode. So I'm going to run this game. I'm going to run a fast game. 10 seconds, yeah. So very fast game. So now I'm going to go to this guy. And if I go to B2B and then I get a deal, right now I can allocate. I have to do manual allocation instead of auto allocation by the system. Okay, why? Because our location are no longer fixed. It's all up to us. So we have to allocate from where we got our goods. So we could allocate from our retail store as well as allocate from our warehouse. So if we haven't got any warehouse, no problem. We still can allocate from our retail store, right? I mean, what's stopping me from trying to sell an excess good in my retail store to a customer in a wholesale mode? No problem, right? I can do that. So I could allocate up to 37,000 from various stores, right? As long as it's add up to 37,000. Okay, so that's what we call manual allocation. Okay, so if I want to allocate from here, 37, and then 500 from here, no problem. I just allocate from here, and that's it. So now I'm waiting to get this allocated, fulfilled, before it could get shipped to the end customer. Yes. Okay. So I hope you understand that. Now, let me just, we can wait a day to see. Yeah, so this is allocated. Now this one is gone because we haven't got any goods. So we need to buy, replenish, okay, before I can get the money from this deal. Okay, so it's not delivered until everything is allocated. So it's what we call manual allocation. Okay, so it's more realistic and more critical thinking on supply chain, because you could not, you could just survive with just retail store and still play B2B, or you can, do, whatever, you can combine your goods from various warehouses and retail store to ship to the client. Okay, so that's 12, manual B2B, manual allocation. And then 15 is repeat purchase order, which I've shown you before, so no need to show that again. Repeat order, just click and then submit, that's it. Now we have imports. I think this is quite nice. to expose the student on the concept of exposing the student the impact of currency fluctuation and also forex gain and loss. So how do we do that? Let me just go back and do the demo again. So this is my demo mode. As you can see, right now I'm in demo mode. So all I have to do is just to stop the demo, end the demo, and it will go back to day 50. It will go back to day 50. Yeah, right. That's when we started the demo. So now I'm back to day 50 without destroying the data of the student. So if you go back, the data is still the data of the day 50. Okay, everything is still there. If I click here, no longer is there because there was no deal, okay, in day 50. Anyway, so I've gone back to day 50 because I want to show you what these imports are, right? So to show imports, let me just show you what we should do, yeah? Intuitively, think about it, right? To show import, first of all, you need to, it's nice to turn on accrual accounting. So I'm going to turn on accrual accounting. Okay. Then I'm going to get one of the suppliers, let's say one of the suppliers, procurement, one of the vendors, right? These are one of the vendor. I'm going to say this is an importer. Okay, so this vendor is importer or not? Okay, it's default to be no, but I'm going to turn it yes. So when this vendor is an importer, what does it mean? That means that he may be quoting me on another different currency. Okay, so if I run this game right now, go to demo mode, and I run, okay, I'm going to run a fast game again. Okay, so what happened is when I go to buy from this vendor, notice that it will quote me on US dollar, right? Because it's an importer. My local currency is all in Aussie dollar. You look at this. All my bookkeeping is in Aussie dollar, but this guy is quoting me on US dollar because he's an importer. Now look at the conversion. Okay, it's automatically calculated for you based on certain numbers. So it's already there, right? Now, so this particular exchange rate is already fixed for now, but it changed all the time. And how does it change? You can look to the forecast. If I turn on forecast, you will see that there is a currency exchange forecast. And that is where the changes comes in. Just wait a second, I'll show you. In fact, I'm going to turn off the boss for now. Turn off the boss. Yep, I'll talk about that later. Okay, so if you look at forecast, you'll see that there's a foreign exchange, right, between Aussie dollar and US dollar. So it's changing all the time. So that means that whatever transaction you made using the foreign currency, which in this case is US dollar, it's gonna give you some impact on your booking for sure, yeah? So let's do a transaction. If I do to buy a finished good right now, let's say I bought in vendor one, which quote me in US dollar. I bought it to Perth, 20,000 immediately. No, it should, yeah, terms of payment 5 days. Good. So now that I have bought, notice that this vendor expects me to pay him in US dollar, 127,000, not Aussie dollar, but US dollar. But when I book in my account, I have to book in Aussie dollar, right? So let's wait till the goods comes in. Okay, so the product has come in. Now I have account payable, due 65. Right? Because it's the terms of payment is 5 days. Now, if I look at my account payable, when I book this rate, the rate is 1.6 to 1 US dollar. But when I pay, it may not be 1.67 anymore. So let's see, right? Let's see in 5 days, when I settle, so when in 5 days, my settlement rate is 1.61 now, instead of 1.67. Which means that I have already incurred a foreign exchange gain or loss, right? Depending on, in this case, is a loss. Oops, it's not there. Oh, because I did a search. So let's clear the search. There you go. There you go. So I have a forex loss, a forex gain, I'm sorry. Forex gain, why? Because from here, you can see your AP, account payable, right? On the day you book, the Aussie dollar is very weak, 1.67, but on the day it settled, Aussie dollar improved. Therefore, you have a gain. Okay, so that's why you have this foreign gain. So it's a nice way. It's very, I think it's quite educational. It can give the learner some exposure to why import and the currency exchange fluctuation and so on. Okay, so that is the currency bit. Okay, now at this point, I like to take like 2 minutes to answer some question, right? I like to ask any questions so far. Or anyone can write their question in the chat also, that I can read and you can see. There's some chat. Is it from Oliver? Is it possible to export transaction list to CSV? The answer is I'll show you. Yes, but in a way that I show you. Here's how you do the transaction tracking. So Oliver asked, can you do the export the transaction? So here's it. In version 8, there's a lot of transaction table here. Okay, you have inventory transaction table, retail transaction table, operating expense transaction table, cash on hand. All these are your transaction table. Okay, so you can just find them here, and cash on hand, let's say you want to see what have you paid for salary. Okay, so these are the things, these are the days that you have sent for salary, and then you can see what is for rental. Okay, what about Perth? Right? What about Melbourne? So you can get this data, and then you can view it, how many records that you want, and then export it, copy it, and you can take it to Excel, or click in Excel or CSV. So the answer is yes, you can do a lot of that. Okay, but not on this transaction table, not yet, but we may put in here for the transaction table. But now the transaction all are in here. So cash is on cash point of view, and what is your PO, and how much you spend for marketing, they're all in this table. Okay, it's called transaction tables. Okay, and don't forget, you still have your old data analytic, which is here. It's still the same, right? You still select, and you still do your old. This is what happened in the past. This is 7.5, you have this only, but in version 8, you're adding a number of transaction table here. Okay, so more transaction table. Okay, and then you can also export this into CSV. So for example, you can select all this and then export it and give it a name, and then it will be downloaded as CSV. Okay, so that's your CSV. So you can mix and match whatever number you like and put it in CSV. Okay, so that's one question. Any other question? Okay, in 7.5, you cannot do partial shipment when you do a move stock, but in version 8, you can do partial shipment. Okay, it means that you have more decision, more critical thinking, right? That's all. So for example, here, if I were to move, let's say if I go to wholesale warehouse, let me turn on the warehouse. Notice that I don't need to stop the game. Yeah, I can just turn on the module on the fly. And now when the modules is on, and you look at the warehouse, and then you can, let's say I move some stock, right, from somewhere to somewhere, and let's say I want to move a lot that is more than I have on quantity. That means I will get stuck here, I'm sure. Let's see. Okay, so if I look at my warehouse ship list, okay, for example, some stocks I get stuck because this shipment cannot be done, but then I have to turn on ship now, which is the partial shipment. Right now it's not allowed, but now if I allow this, okay, then if I come here, okay, it's already done, but let's find someone that is half fulfilled. Then I can do a ship now. Now it's all there, but I'm going to create one just to show you. Now, suppose I want to ship this much and this much to Perth. So obviously I created two allocation. One, I have enough goods to allocate, one I don't. There you go. So I have orange juice, I'm done, right? I can ship orange juice, but melon juice, I'm stuck because I run out of melon juice. But in 7.5, you are stuck. You cannot ship this. But now in version 8, you can do ship now because there's partial shipment allowed. So all you have to do is to just ship it. The good thing about this is that it's more flexible for the learners. And of course, then they understand that if you do too many shipping, then your logistic cost will be too high. Yeah, that means you haven't planned it correctly. Okay, so you can start to, they pay the price in terms of paying too much logistic price. That's all. Okay, so that's ship now. Okay, then I'm going to move on to the next topic, which is B2B shipment. Client does not pick up where we deliver. Earlier I mentioned that if you want to see, I can do the demo. Let's do a demo here. So let's go back to the beginning. I'm going to totally erase this. Let's start from 0. Okay, so now I do an instant stop, so it's already gone. All the data is gone. I'm going to turn off human resource. I'm going to turn on B2B. I'm going to turn off marketing, and let's do a run. Okay, a very simple one. But before that, let me turn on the B2B shipment allow, which means that we need to consider the location of the customer. Okay, so that's it. So now if I initialize and I run a very fast game, maybe 20 days enough for me to show that. There you go. I'm going to click as one of the players and run this game. Okay. So first thing first is warehouse. I go to get a location. Okay, I'm going to set a location in Adelaide. But before I set the location, I better check where my customers are, right? Now I can see that the customers are mostly, okay, let's say here. So I think number 2 is a good bet, right? So I'm going to pick number 2. So it's closer because then I can ship to 1, 3, and 4. So I'm going to pick number 2. I'm going to select 1,500 meters, go ahead, and then I'll wait 1 day. It goes to my transaction list. Now Brisbane is here, right? So now I can go for bidding for one of the customers. Let's suppose I just go for this deal, a main. Okay, now, so I got this customer, I got this deal. Now I need to allocate. Now look at this situation. Now I need to ship. This is a new thing that I need to consider. If I were to ship from this place, Brisbane, right, to this customer, it is quite far away, 942 meters away, kilometers. So it's going to take how many days? 3 days of shipment, 2 days. Shipping day is 2 days, right? As opposed to if I get another deal from another customer, which one is closer? Let's take a look. If I take a look, closer customer, number 1, Bigco. So if I go to Bigco, if I select a deal from Bigco, where's Bigco? There you go, Bigco. If I get this deal, notice that my shipping fee is a lot cheaper. It's only 600, you know. Okay, in this case, it's still 2 days. But anyways, it's closer now compared to Mainco. So you make that decision, right? So if you get the wrong place, I mean, we have people like in Penn State, they were like, you know, America is so big, right? So they had the warehouses in the West Coast and the customer is on East Coast, then they, you know, the shipment will take them like 10, 20 days. So the student are really suffering. So really need to think about the location of the warehouse. Okay. So that's the B2B shipment. Next one is detailed transaction data table. We have talked about this just now, which is this one. These are all the detailed transaction table. Yeah. So just get them and download them. So that's it. And do your data analytics. And then new location observation. Okay, what does it mean? It means that as a CT, you can at a glance, look at, so there's an observation here that there's a new observation here, okay? Not just the KPI and not just a table, but there's observation here. You can look at the who is in where. So as a teacher, you can easily tell, okay, team 4, there's only one warehouse in Brisbane, but team 2, you know, this warehouse, and this is the retail store. Okay, so the robots are going for all this, you know, retail store and warehouse. Okay, so you know, it's easier to teach because as a teacher, you just, you know, click this and then show this. Because a student, usually when they play the game, after a while, they really want to know what happened in a bigger context, right? What happened? Give me the big picture here for this game. So I really like to just click this, and then they will understand where they stand. A lot of time, a lot of students, when they see the chart, they understand, okay, so here's how I'm doing in comparison to my other team. And from there, they start to know what they're up to, what they're up against, you know. Okay, so this is just a nice thing to show the student as a teacher, new location observation. And then go to 20 is active guide for learners. So now we publish a lot of active guide for the learner. So teaching become easier because then you push the whole learning to the student. Because a lot of times the student, now the students are like this, right? If you give them a lot of information, a lot of PowerPoint, I bet you they're going to say it's boring. They don't want to look at it, right? For sure. Because, you know, every time you give them too much information without them, you know, able to accept, they're not ready to accept those information, they are going to fight back. But in this case, you can just turn on the active guide for them. You can, learner can see active guide allow. Yes, you can just turn it on, and the learner, each of the learner, you can ask them to click this. You see this? This is a live, you know, this is a you know, something that they can click. Is a help button, so they can just click and understand for their own, so they can study the whole concept behind what is area utilizations. They can read this, they can understand this. So, you know, especially in the COVID situation, you really want to push all the learning as much as possible to the student. And it's good anyway, because, you know, if you give it to them, they find it boring anyway. So let's just give it to them and let them study for themselves, right? And also, don't forget that these things are very, very comprehensive now, right? All the guides are very comprehensive. So you can just let them study this before the game. So even before the game, when you start, let them just explore the screen, because there's a lot of information they can see from the screen, okay, from all this exploration. And all this little, you know, they can just kick, what is a warehouse procurement, how to transfer good, how to set schedule, auto replenishment, how to manage warehouse rental. All these are all self-discovery for the student. Of course, the teacher also have a set of that at your page. So what you see here for the student, you also have it here as a teacher, active guide, right? So you can just search, for example, if you want to search for, say, MRP, you just search for MRP, and this is the active guide for MRP. So you have two choices, right? One is, if you're sharing the screen, if they're looking at your screen, you can just click this and show them, right? And show them the material. But if you don't have the screen, let's say you are running remote and they, you know, they don't have something, I don't know, then you can ask them to read it for themselves, asking them to go through their screen, and it's the same material. Okay, so the same material appears for the learners as well as for the teacher here. Okay, now you can also turn it off, right? You can say, I don't want my teacher to see the active guide. I don't know why you want to do that, but maybe you want to. Just turn it off. And if you do turn off, then this will disappear, and the student will not be able to see anything. So they have to look at your version. So you just click your version and show it to them. And here's your version. Yeah, there you go. Maybe sometimes you want to do it in a consolidated mode. You want everybody to pay attention to your screen rather than them going on their while to look at their own screen. It's all up to you. Okay. Next, microchart. And this is a really nice new feature for version 8. there's a lot of microchart in this system, right? Every page, for example, here, they can get here, this is the microchart. For finance, they get overhead, they can see what's the overhead, they can see the profit and loss, they can see cash on hand, and so on and so on, average cost and so on. And each of these microchart, they can download data table. They can also see the data, okay? They can also download CSV, they can download the JPEG, and they can make a good report to submit to you as a teacher. So there's a lot of microchart in this. And if you combine all these microchart, you can really make a good story out of your operation, okay? All the relationship between one and another. So there are microcharts everywhere. Yeah, every time you see this, you can just click and you can combine them if you like. Okay, so that's microchart. Pushing more boundaries for learner self-discovery. Okay, so that means just give it to them. Let the student discover. Next, scoring matrix can be in player screen. So learners always want to know how they fare when they play the game. So sometimes you want to make it very interesting for the learners. Okay, you can say that, okay, I want to set up scoring metrics and I'd like you guys to feel it. So let's say I'm scoring, this is scoring metric. Now you can push the scoring metrics to the student. So you can say, learner, see scoring metrics? No, you can say yes. And when you do that, then a box will appear and with the scoring metrics appearing. Okay, it takes 1 day to self-adjust the bar. Don't worry about that. Okay, by next day, it will be nicely adjusted. Okay, so that's the pushing it to the student. If I run 1 more day, you can see the chart is going to be nicely. There you go. Okay, so it's live. Okay, so the student can see it live, and of course the student can hide it if they don't want to see it. Maybe if they're losing, they don't want to see it, just hide it. Okay, so go on. Let me go on. Scoring metric in player screen. Data live access. This is a really, really good feature that I really urge everyone to think about implementing it in your school. It is where you let the student study things like, you know, statistical tools like Tableau, Power BI, R, and Google Studio on the data that they have collected. So the student now has a strong relationship with the data through a live access, live tabbing. So now I'm going to stop the game and let you experience the live access. So I'm stopping the game and I'm going to turn on the credentials so that they can log in to tap into the live access, to tap into the live data. Okay, so it takes 1 day to stop. Okay, so it's stopped now. So if I click here, look at data analytics, and of course it's all okay. There's a proper help to show you. So I have just set so first time you come here, you just set the access, and here are the access to the table. So whatever table that whatever scenario that you run, there's a bunch of data sitting somewhere for you to tap, okay? And unlock that. Here's how you unlock it. You come here, you set the user access. And here are the database, and here are the port number, the host number, and the username, and the password. So if I click and show you this password, you can use this credential to use anything, Excel, whatever, to log in. Okay, now I'm going to show you how I log in. So very quickly, I just go to one of the tools here, and let's call it Google Analytics. I'm going to use a simple one, is Google Analytics. Okay, so first of all, I just go ahead and create a data source. In MySQL, I create the data source, and I just plug in a number of I just plug in the data here. Where is the port number and host? Oh God, where's my? Here we go. So the host number is this. Okay, and I just plug it in. The host number, port number is empty, and then the database is this. I plug it in. a database, and the CT name, the username is this. Okay, the CT name is this. And I plug it in, and the password is this. The reason why we hide it, because you may not want to show it to the student, right? So you know, I'm just gonna say, plug it, and then you put in the password, and you authenticate. Now you're tapping straight into the data, and the data, you know, this data belongs to the student, so they have a connection to the student, to the data. Okay, so there's a common table. It's called day, client, the forecast detail, location, product, vendor. These are the common one, but these are the table one. This is the CT, financial, inventory. Why is there a CT here? The CT here means that this data belongs to the CT actually. So it has all the data from all teams. But if you don't want them to look at all other teams, then don't give them this credential, give them this credential. Okay, so this guy, this team, 119511, should look only using this credential to tap into their own database, right? So if they use this credential, all they're going to see is their own data, right? But trainer, you can see all data. You see, so you can. It's up to you. Your choice. If you want to give the student the whole company, the whole game's data for them to cross-analyze, fine, do it. Otherwise, give them their own data. If you want to give them their own data, but you don't want to show the password publicly, what you do, you just click this and mail them the credential. So if I say, here are your login information. Okay, the report due in 2 days, right? So I just send this, and then each of the team member will receive the login information for their own table, for their own data, okay? But now I'm showing you the one that is going to the whole, you know, so now I can see if I go to the sales, I can connect to the sales data. By the way, this is live now, right? So whatever changes that I have made running the game, the data will show up here, and I can create report using this credential. Right, so now I'm creating a new report here. Okay, add to report. Now I am not good in this, so I'm not going to attempt to do anything, but I can just share with you a little bit that you know, I can add a chart. Let's say I can put in a chart, and I can throw in the sales, the revenue number, and so on, and I can create another bar chart, whatever. Okay, so these are all the number. These are all. So this is your data analysis. Okay, so many people like Tableau, so go ahead and use Tableau. Many people like R, you can go ahead and do that also, no problem. Okay, so now I've got to data analysis. It's good. I'm gonna take 1 or 2 minutes to answer some questions. Is there any? Okay. Okay, so here's a question. Is payroll text unavoidable in MonsoonSIM? You can turn it off, yeah? You can, no, it will be a default to off, so don't worry, okay. So you can turn it off. Okay, I'm going to continue to the next question, next feature, boss. Okay, so this boss, I have personally used it in my TTT, okay? And I think it helps a lot, all right? And it is a virtual teaching assistant, and it's really great for new learners. And you know, you're going to, you know, everybody's online, someone is somewhere, and you don't want to, you know, you want them to get guided, but not by you, because you may not understand their current problem, because one guy's problem is not the other guy's problem. One guy may be struggling with how to find the sales data, the other guy may be struggling with another issue. So what you want is to send the boss, and the boss will help them, each and individual, you know, each one of them just separately. Okay, so what does it mean? So let me just I mean, for those who have used it, that's really good, but for those who haven't used it, I suggest you can take a look at it, right? So boss is really a virtual teaching assistant that I'm going to initialize this game, but this time I'm going to turn on the boss. If you don't allow, then of course there's nothing to help them, right? There's nobody giving them any instruction. But if you do turn it on right now, then suddenly there's this guy coming out, right? So when the game is stopped, it will give you different suggestion, right? So when the game is stopped, it say, okay, can you check out your micro chart? And then if you say show me, then it will show you where the micro charts are. Here are the micro charts. Okay, here are the help. And then, you know, every time, every so many seconds, it will come up with a new suggestion to get the student going, so to speak. Okay, so it gives you some reminders when the game is stopped. So it will tell you some of the things that you need to prepare yourself. You know, click all this to get to know more, and so on and so on. So these are all the help that you can get. So even as you start a game with someone, then already they can start to get a picture of the game. So, you know, time is not wasted. Basically, you know, they can learn a lot by their self-discovery. Now, and if you run this game, then it will do more, right? If you run this game, then it will immediately give you suggestion based on your current situation. Okay, so first of all, say retail business needs storefront. Set up your storefront. Why don't you set up your warehouse? Why don't you set up this? So you can say show me. So it gives you some hint on where to click. Okay, so this is where they show me. But if you don't do it, then it will show you again. But after a while, it will go away. Okay, because they're not going to nag you forever. So there is a timing. Okay, that he will just give you some advice. How many times, and certainly there's some randomness in there. And therefore, when it thinks that you really don't want to do certain things, then you'll just ignore it, okay? But initially, if you pay attention to them, there's some advice coming in through to you that will help you, okay? So this is really good for new student, but you have to set them up. You have to set up some expectation, right? You can tell them that, look, this is experiential learning. Please, you know, let this guy be your guide and help you out a bit, okay? And let self-discovery a bit. So if the student is mentally prepared to do self-discovery, then with the little help from the boss, then things will become smooth, okay? And I must say that I have tried with one person that has no experience with MonsoonSIM totally, and I say just go in and explore and let some virtual guy guide you. And you know, after like 10 days, you know, she understand what's going on because of this guy. Okay, so that's the boss. Then next one is learner sign up online guide. Okay, now a lot of time when learners sign up, you say, you know what, you got to log in, and so it's already easy enough. But maybe sometimes somebody still have a have problem signing in, right? Let's say I start from day 0. So if that happens, simply click this, and now there's a guide. Okay, just on your screen, just click this and say that, guys, take a look at this, right? This is your game code. And if you're not a member, go sign up as a member. If you're already a member, just log in until you see the game, join, and then you just join, and that's it. That's the simplest version. But if they still don't understand, then you go on to the next page. The next page is more technical and is more detailed, right? You visit this, you go, not member, you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this. Okay, so it just makes your teaching a lot easier with this guide on your hands, and the game code is already there, right? So all you have to do is just expand this box, and that's it. And then you can even go on and tell them that you don't get to your home, you go to this, and you can click here, and then you go to this, and you can go on so on and so on. You can even turn on it. Now, the reason why we put all these pages here is because sometimes a student asks, and then you try to show that particular page, and you just couldn't replicate the page, and you are remotely sitting somewhere. So all you have to do is to say, are you looking at this screen? Are you looking at this? Right? You should look at this screen, right? When you log in, you should be looking at this screen. So that's how you can guide them just by clicking away. Okay. So that's your learner sign up online. Then 25 is chat. It's perfect for lockdown situation. Okay, so I don't know whether you guys already use chat, but we are making chat. We have improved it somewhat. You can see. So if I come in here, there's a chat box that I can turn on and off here. Yeah. Now, if I don't want chat totally, I can just totally turn off. Right? Then it's gone. right? Then if I turn it on, it's on. Now, if it's off, then the student don't see it, right? But if I turn it on, then there's a check box here, as well as checkbox here. Okay. Now there are two rooms here for the student. One is game room where they can talk to anyone in the game, and team room where they can talk to anyone in their team only. Okay. Not even the CT can go into the team room. So there's game room and team room. So if I were to say now, I'm not expanding this box right now, but if I were to say hello teacher, let's say hello sir. Okay, I need help. Let's say immediately this open up and I can see that, okay, this guy needs help. Okay, same thing. If this guy is not doing anything, let's say he close it out because he want to focus on something else. But if I want to talk to them and I'm going to say, okay, break in 5 minutes, then this box will get opened up. Okay, so the box will only open when there's someone talking for your attention, that needs your attention. Okay, then you reply and so on. Yeah, then you say you reply and so on, and then you turn it off. You just close it until someone talks to you again, then it opens up again. All right, so that's the chat. Okay, so it's really helpful. I think you should really explore using it. Next one is courses. So this brought us to the last topic, which is courses. Okay, courses is this, right? Your game, I'm going to reset to 0. Now, MonsoonSIM has prepared. Okay, in the past, you see some courses here and there, but they're not really mature yet. But now we're getting into this. So we have got this new icon here. Okay, it's called MonsoonSIM Courses. You click here, and then we are going to add a lot of courses here. Okay, by the way. So we start with the ERP series. So ERP series is a set of courses that we've already pre-developed for you. There's 14 of them. So if you click here, you'll see that it's Retail Business 1 all the way to ERP 114. Okay, so it's a what they call it, it's a roadmap. Okay, and each of the course, it comes with what is covered. Okay, and it tells you what are the modules that are involved in these courses. Okay, and the best of it is the materials are all on your fingertip. All you have to do is to click this, and then you can teach using the material here. Okay, what is ERP 101? It is understanding this. This is the roadmap. ERP 101, and then all the way up to ERP 114. And this is the product, and this is the location, blah, 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 blah. You can just go away, explain this. So there's a lot of theory behind this, explaining the background, the process flow. So you can, this is what the learner has to think about, right? How much to buy, from which vendor, ship to which store, and so on, right? Optimal selling price, popular product, what's your cycle stock, how often have you stocked out, what is your area utilization, what's your sales expenses. Now, if you think about it, even ERP 101, there's so much to think about, right? So much to think about for the student. But in the past, you may not even discuss this, but it's fine. It's fine, right? MonsoonSIM is like, you can just have fun and think that it's just a game. But if you want to really study, you can go in to think about all this, okay? And the data is all there, all right? So you can click here and explore. And then, there's some help to guide you along. And then after that, you can start the game. So you want to start this course? Easy, just run the course. And then the course will be set up automatically by this wizard. Okay, it will even allow you to select your baseline. Okay, let's say I want to go Germany baseline, and then I select this form. You see, the modules will be turned on and off for me, and even turn off the setting. Even the parameters are all preset for me. So I've turned off, I don't allow holiday, and I want to allow boss. And then here are my scoring metrics associated with this course. Here are the suggested scoring metrics. All you have to do is to click, 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 explain to the student, and even suggested the time for you. And now it's all done. So all is set up for you. All you have to do is to hear and run. Okay, it's all set up. So for example, the scoring metrics has been set up for you, and here are the scoring metrics preset for you. Now, if you don't like this course, or if you like to change something else, you go ahead and change it before you start the game. No problem. You can change it. Okay, you can change it further. So let's say I'm running this course right now, and then I want to change to another course, and I say, okay, I'm done with this course. Today I'm going to give you the difficult one, which is let's say I'm going to go to service business. So I just click here and run this service business. And about this course is still here, right? About the service business. So it tells you where you are. Okay, you are here, and this is what you're talking about, and what is your manpower, and so on and so on. You have to think about this. And then you run the game, right? When I run this game, again, it's all preset for me. All I have to do is to click, 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 explain it away to my student, and that's it. It's all even initialized for me. So now all I have to do is to run this game, right? And if I look at my scoring metrics, just to double check, has it been set up properly? Yes, it has been set up properly. Okay, so you can just run this course. Now, I don't know how you want to combine this into your curriculum, but you feel free to combine this. Let's say, you know, for week 1, I want to do 2-3 courses and so on and so on, up to you. Okay, you can change the time, you can change all that. Okay, after you have loaded, you can change. So this is the preset course for you. Now, we even give you the chance to create your own course now. Okay, so this is my course. So suppose that, okay, I'm going to delete this course for now. Suppose I have set up something. Now I'm delete this course. Now suppose I've run this course. I thought this was really nice, and you know, I want to combine human resource with procurement and then retail. I thought it's really nice, and so on. I'm going to set up some target. Let's say I go here and set up some target for the student. I'm going to do a sales revenue here. I'm going to set up some target. Let's say 444, 333. Okay, I like this very much. All right. So what to do now? You can come here and go to my course and create a new course based on the current setting. Okay, this is my nice course. Okay, this course does this, and so on and so on, and it's me only, and that's it. So this course is yours to reuse in the future. Okay, the scoring metrics are there, the targets are there. All you have to do is to reload this. So suppose if I change this to something else, if I turn on, let's say, production, I can't actually because I need the warehouse, but I turn on marketing and forecasting, then I say, oh, I want to run this course. So I just run this course, and then this course will be run. Okay, so the marketing is all gone, right? So now I'm back to that course. Okay, so if I want to change something else, I can just save it again. So if I want to create a second course, I just create a second course based on this is my second course. Yeah. So you can put your summary here and so on, and that's your second course. Okay, so you create your own course with your own scoring metric and target, and you just keep it. And by the way, I got some of input from Dr. Chu from Utah. So just to mention that. Okay, so we have these courses that you can create. Now, one other thing that is very, very nice is this. Suppose I like to have my own material, just like this one. You see here, I have my material that I can have about this course. So I get my university logo, my own language, my own presentation. I don't like this, the one from MonsoonSIM. I like to create my own. That's fine. You create your own, and then you attach it here. If you go to edit, you put in your presentation URL here. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example. So suppose this is my course material that I want to teach, right? But it only supports Google Sheet, yeah, for now. We haven't been able to find, unfortunately, Microsoft PowerPoint doesn't allow it to become published, but Google can, right? So you can do here and go to publish, and you could publish to the web, and then you can just do this publishing. That's it, any course. So you just bring this in to your course and click edit and put it here, and that's it. So tomorrow you come here and then you say, okay, about this course. So that's your material. Okay, so not only you can create your course, you can change, you can replace. Let's say you want to replace, let's say you change something, you say, this is better, so I want to replace this current. So if I say marketing is good, I want to replace this with current one, so I just go and replace. Save course. So I do the save, and now you see the marketing is turned on. So I have just updated my course. Okay, and again, my materials is very nice. I can just click and with my own logo and my own style. Yeah. Okay, so that's the latest course, and we have come to I think the end of my presentation in terms of all the things that I want to cover. I like to really answer some questions that you guys might have. Okay, from Billy, what's the difference between save configuration and this button? More powerful than save configuration? Good point. Okay. The different, okay, Billy, the old way is just saving your configuration. Okay, it's just a configuration saving, but it doesn't save your target and doesn't save your scoring metrics. This will go away slowly. We are going to replace by course. Okay, but we still leave it there for now. But in months to come, all your savings will now be converted to your course here. Okay, with the proper more stuff here. And I can tell you in the future, there will be your result will be stored here as well, and you can see the result. Every time you run this course, you'll see the result, and you can save it, and you can do a lot of things here. Okay, so we are moving into the course concept here, and we are slowly diverging from saving just a config itself. Okay, good question. So if you look at the conclusion as a conclusion, look at this, right? These are all the new things that we have, right? But easier to teach are the one that is bold, right? So these are the things that are easier to teach. For example, new location setting, because it's easier to teach the concept now. New transaction table, learner sign up online, quick initialization, new demo mode, new location, active guide, boss, chat. These are easier to teach. And here are the more to teach. Here are the new modules, okay, and more to learn about the student. So more to teach, more to learn, and easier to teach. And here are the easier to operate. Okay, transaction tables, easier to operate, sales running table, inline editing. These are all easier for the student to operate. Okay, so we improve in 3 dimensions. One is how to teach easier, then the substance of teaching and learning, we improve, and then how to operate. And finally, we have this new club ELO. Okay, so we have a club and community club ELO, which is also based on our, if you know, we'll talk about the ELO rating for the club. You can see that in MonsoonSIM, there's a lot of club playing, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen this, but I like to just share a little bit. These are the clubs of MonsoonSIM. There's a lot of games going on right now. So every day there are new games. For example, this game will be coming in about 3 hours, and this game will come in 5 hours, and this game is being set up. So we have a lot of public game go on, and people can just join in and play, and here are the ranking. Okay, so this is the rated game. R is a rated game, and non-R is non-rated game. Okay, so when you play a rated game and the result been seen here, and the rating of the individual will go up and down because of how they perform. And the clubs, the rated clubs are there here. These are all the clubs, okay? If you win a game, if you lose a game, this will affect your ELO rating. ELO rating is like your ranking, the club ranking. So this is what's going on. Currently, we have about 800 clubs, 750 clubs right now. Mostly each club has 5 members, and you guys are all CT. You are free to create your own clubs, right? And create your own members. And then they can come here and join the club games. And in version 8, we're starting to support this, what do you call that, ELO rating. Okay. All right, so that's the ELO rating. And if you're interested in the calculation of the ELO, is like this. And these are some of the examples of the ELO rating. that we have calculated. Okay, ELO is a very standard benchmarking tool for chess, so we are just using the same concept for this game. All right, any other question? From Billy, he said that, does it mean the safe configuration will be no more in the future? Yes, it will be no more in the future, okay? And from Luis Valentino to everyone, will there be any, okay, all right, so good. Now, I want to share something going forward. This is something, Anissa, would you share? There's a new event coming up. I hope you can join. Just let Anissa, you can go ahead and
share. Hi, so I hope you enjoy this webinar and you learn a lot of features that you like and will implement in your classes. Here's our event coming up in the 19th of August. It's navigating VUCA and providing effective ERP experiential learning. VUCA stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity, and that's basically how the world is right now. So we hope that this webinar will provide some insights as to how MonsoonSIM can help future students and graduate navigate that kind of world by analyzing complex businesses, implementing their plans, and then analyzing if it works, or, and then reflecting whether it works or not. And while they're at it, learn ERP experiential learning so they get more industry experience, I guess. Our guest speakers are very knowledgeable about this topic, and they're experts, and they've been using MonsoonSIM for a long time. So if you're still here and if you have any colleagues you'd like to share MonsoonSIM with, please invite them to this event. I'll share the link in the chat. So, and hopefully they get something valuable from this too. Okay.
All right, then we are right on time, 1:30. Okay, so I'll see you in the, hopefully I'll see you in the next webinar. And don't forget the webinar that Anissa shared. I think it's very nice to see Dr. Jonathan Leong from SUSS. He has been using MonsoonSIM for 3-4 years, and he has really looked into the VUCA angle of the, volatility and angle for the learners. So I think it's very good. Okay. All right, if not, then thank you all so much.